स्तुति's book club में स्वागत है आप सभी का. Now, if you like reading books, if you like listening to authors talk about their latest books, so this is the show for you, you know. But आज, if you love eating, if you like stories that talk about food, then you can't stay away from this one. I have celebrity chef Anahita Dhondy with me. This is a new book, The Parsi Kitchen, a memoir of food and family, जिसके बारे में हम बात करने वाले हैं. Hi Anahita.
Hi Stutee, thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and I'm so glad I'm here, part of your book club. Really excited to share with you everything about the Parsi Kitchen.
You know, I am so happy we finally managed this. You know, Anahita lives the life, okay? Whether it's food, traveling, it's difficult to catch her and get her to do this, but I'm glad we are finally doing this. पहले तो
congratulations. So let me correct you थोड़ा सा. So basically, in today's day and age, a chef is really like हमारे horizons बहुत ज़्यादा expand हो चुके हैं, and I am actually just making sure I make the most of all the situations that I'm in, and honestly, like, you know, keeping the book tour which I've been doing, I want to talk to you also about, is very interesting and very exciting because a lot of authors don't do that. And the travel part where you said that you can't catch me is because हर महीने I'm planning एक ना एक जगह, so like right from Bombay to Bangalore to Hyderabad to Goa, which I'm going this weekend. I am traveling to showcase my book, talk about my book, cook the food which is in the book, and that is why you have not been able to catch me.
So cool. So you mean to say if we were doing this in person, you would be talking not just of the dishes but making me taste it also?
Absolutely, yes. So you have missed that opportunity out, and next time we should do that in person.
Next time, बिल्कुल जी हम करेंगे. But right now, this is such a good-looking book. I think it's a treat for senses. Like whether it's visual pleasure या खाने की बात तो इसमें होगी. But I think it's part of who you are. Like you said, you want to make the most of what you have. Similarly, you've done that with your heritage, with Parsi food. You know, you spoke about how growing up you loved eating the food, but you never really thought that you're going to make it. Till you decided कि नहीं हम इसमें भी करेंगे, and what an evolution this has been. So talk to me a little about your journey, about your delving into Parsi food. क्योंकि जो चीज़ मुझे बहुत सही लगती है, to call this just a recipe book is to do great disservice. It's almost like reading somebody's memoir. The stories attached, the pictures. I know so much about your family. I almost feel like I know you because I've read this. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. So a little bit about the Parsi Kitchen, जिनको पता नहीं है, you know, कि ये इस किताब में है क्या actually. And every time anyone asks me a little bit about it, I always say it's not just a recipe book. You know, it is a story book. I wanted to make sure that the stories are in with the recipes because जिनकी जो कहानियाँ होती हैं खाने के साथ वो बहुत ज़रूरी होती है because you want to set that context. You want people to know where did that recipe come from, and for me it was the storytelling which was very very important, and I wanted the style of storytelling also to be very conversational. जैसे मैं आपको कहानी बता रही हूँ कि अच्छा ये हुआ था, ये मिले थे, ऐसे बना था, ये ingredient है. So that's what we've kind of like kept in the book. We've kept it very very simple that you can just pick it up from any chapter. And you know you can read it. So that's why it's called, you know, the Parsi Kitchen, a memoir of food and family, because it's got food, which is obviously an important part, but it's got a lot of the, you know, little bits of family. So मेरी journey जो है, it started in Delhi, born and brought up in Delhi, studied at Springdale School in Dhaulakua, and then I went to IHM Aurangabad, which is a culinary and hotel management institute in Aurangabad. So I did my BA honors in culinary arts. I was there for 3 years. Then I went to Taj. I worked with Taj, which is in Delhi, at Taj Mansingh. So maybe somewhere around 2011 या 12 अगर आप आए होगे Taj Mansingh और आपने कुछ खाया होगा. मैं internship कर रही थी. I was a small little intern, you know, running around and doing all my internship duties. तो वो तब था. And then I went to Le Cordon Bleu in London, which is a culinary school. It's one of the best schools in the world. And I did my grand diploma from there, which is like a extensive, almost like a master's in culinary art. तो वो मैंने वहाँ से करा. तो 1 साल मैं लंदन में थी और उसके बाद मैं वापस दिल्ली आई एंड एट 23 I joined Mr. A.D. Singh from the Olive Group and started Soda Bottle Loknawala. So I was 23 then, was with the brand for 9 years, expanded it to 9 different cities and outlets in the country. And 2021 में मैंने उसको छोड़ा और अपना book launch किया. और अब there are a couple of things in the pipeline, so we shall discuss that later.
Super. So that's absolutely lovely, your journey so far. Now, talking about the book, we of course want to nudge everyone to go get it, whether you guys order it online या अपने nearest bookstore में जाके आप ये लें. But like Anahita here said, that it also reads like a storybook. It has the best of both worlds. There's of course food and pictures and all of that, but the best food is one where हम memories जिसके साथ जुड़ी होती हैं, and you've spoken a lot about that. A lot of people have lots of opinions about Parsi food. जो common myth क्या है जो आपको लगता है कि मतलब everybody thinks, but let me bust it for them.
So I think firstly बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों को पता नहीं है कि पारसी खाना होता क्या है. So firstly there's a whole confusion that what is Parsi food, and I can give you that with examples from when I was at Soda Bottle Loknawala and we had opened, and लोग आते थे, मेन्यू देखते थे, and मेन्यू में हमने बहुत authentic dishes के original नाम रखे थे. We hadn't like Indianized it, or we hadn't made it like very English. We'd kept the Gujarati names. So a lot of people used to come and read that and not understand, and then we would have to go and give them an explanation क्योंकि उनको कोई idea नहीं था वो क्या है. I'll give you an example. Something like papeta par edu, which means आलू के ऊपर अंडा हमने पका के आपको दिया हुआ. They would look at me like, oh my god, where have we come? What is this weird food? Like, so they had all sorts of misconceptions that Parsi food is food from Paris. I'm not kidding.
No.
Yes. So people thought, and I was like, no, you are absolutely wrong. यहाँ पे हम पेरिस का कोई खाना नहीं बेचते हैं. यहाँ पे हम बेचते हैं जो बॉम्बे ईरानी कैफे का फूड है, उसको हम यहाँ पे बेचते हैं. So it was a huge learning with Soda Bottle Loknawala on how we kind of educated a lot of people about Parsi food. And I think one myth that I'm trying to bust, honestly it's not busted yet, is that Parsis only eat non-vegetarian and they love their non-veg and they don't have enough vegetarian recipes. So in my book The Parsi Kitchen मैंने ये करा है कि हर रेसिपी के साथ I have kept the authentic recipe, but उसके साथ मैंने सारे vegetarian substitutes और उसको vegetarian कैसे बनाना है वो I have put all the method and the ingredients for it, because personally I am a big advocate of eating more vegetarian food. So even though I wanted to keep the essence of the book as authentic and traditional as possible, I also wanted to give like people alternatives, people who don't eat meat, and how can they kind of substitute it. So I think that is one big myth that I'm trying to bust.
So what you've done here is कि आपने एक dish ली है जो typical original Parsi dish है, और उसकी recipe के साथ you've obviously woven in a story and how in a way that dish made a place in your heart and in your life. So Gansak wala, I remember that chapter where you spoke about vegetarian Gansak as well, because I think she came from a Parsis are vegetarian too. I mean, you had to write that because everybody
exactly because of my grandmother actually, and her family, and she actually the story goes that she not her but her grandmother, so my grandmother's grandmother, which is a really long time ago, she saw a calf being butchered, and it was very painful for her, and she said that never again in our family are we going to be eating any meat. So it started from her family, and they were very happy vegetarians. They ate everything you can imagine. So for me, growing up in her household was very different from the other Parsi households that I'd seen. And that's why the chapter which is Gansak, which says that Parsis can be vegetarian too, क्योंकि किसी को मतलब सोच भी नहीं है कि अच्छा आप vegetarian खाना खाते हो, आप Parsi हो या आप are you a fake Parsi? You know, honestly, like sometimes I get these like silly remarks, but you know, just I've seen it happening. So she did make a vegetarian version of it, so you can make it just as a dal, or you can add jackfruit to it, or you can add potatoes to it. You can make it vegetarian the way you want to, just don't add paneer. I mean, some things you can add paneer, I will let you add paneer, but do not add paneer in everything. We can use more vegetables which are in season and probably make it vegetarian too.
सुपर. तो एक बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट सवाल अभी आपके लिए, यू नो, like a good film, हम पूरी किताब तो डिस्कस नहीं कर पाएंगे ना, हम चाहते हैं because we want people to go read it and pick it up, but which is your favorite Parsi dish, and tell us a little story around it जैसे आपने इस किताब में लिखी है.
So obviously it's very very difficult to choose, and I think this is what people always do. They always put chefs in a spot कि अच्छा बताइए आपकी favorite dish कौन सी है. But you know, honestly, like we are so used to a whole range of different flavors, and our palates are so exposed to so many different kind of flavors. It's very difficult to pick and choose. But for me, if I had to just choose one dish, it'll always come down to comfort. And even in the book, जो जैसे मैंने समझाया है, it's very simple because you want that person to kind of be transported into that situation. Yeah. Now for me, that is if I travel or I work or I'm very very tired, I come home, I like the house to be slightly cooler, so it reminds me also of my grandparents' house in Allahabad where the cooler is on, so there's this in the heat, when you have the cooler on, you feel kind of sleepy. It's this really nice comfort feeling. You sit on your chair, you put your feet up actually, which is very if the Parsis will call you uncivilized and uncouth, honestly, because they're very very proper and you can't put your feet up. But I would like to get into my pajamas in my own home, put my feet up and get a nice plate of dal chawal, which is dhan dal patio, which is one of the dishes and one of the chapters in the book, which is just basically simple tuar dal with a tadka of jeera and lasan. Very very simple, pura ghota hua hota hai, so it's really soft and mashy. Right. And then it's had with white rice, a drizzle of ghee, and on the side you can have a patio, which is like it's like a khatta meetha chutney with
the way you're describing it, मुंह में पानी आ रहा है, like.
So I mean, honestly, like I want to take you to that situation where I'm sitting there and it's nice and cool and I put my feet up, I've had a long day, like it's super relaxing. You eat that and then you have a nap. Like honestly, that is just comfort max. Like really really cool. Good. So it's always important that whenever you talk about your dish, you also transport people to that situation, and it makes the whole experience better because you are there and I know you can't taste it, but you can imagine it, and that's great. So Dhan Dal Patio, which is also a chapter in the Parsi Kitchen, is one of my favorite, most loved comfort dishes.
I think I remember one of your Insta stories where you shared your soda bottle staff lunch, which was like a bowl of.
I used to do that every day. Yeah. So I used to eat staff lunch every day, and we made sure that we had like a staff lunch roaster. And we would have like rajma chawal, curry, whatever. Like every day was different. And every day I would just make a bowl. So I would just put some rice, put the curry, put whatever sabzi. So there would always be some seasonal vegetable and then some salad on the side. And every day there would be like, this is time for staff lunch. So today is this dish. And today is this. Because, I would eat the same food with the team. And I think that's also something which is very important for team building because you're eating with everyone. So, it was great and I loved it.
Super. अच्छा, थोड़ा सा इस किताब से हट के, I think those in the hospitality industry would know, but for a lot of us, हमारे बड़े notions हैं about what really happens inside kitchens, and how do they actually make these dishes, and what's the joke, what are they saying, what are they thinking. कोई आप मुझे kitchen secret अभी reveal कर सकते हैं for my listeners and viewers?
Secrets. You want to know kitchen secrets? Okay, let me see what secrets can I tell you honestly, because there's really nothing as a secret, but I can just tell you one thing, that in the kitchen, it's a super high pressure environment. So because you are getting a lot of orders continuously and you are preparing a lot of orders continuously, you are multitasking, you are there's a constant conversation between you and your colleagues. So it's never like a moment which is silent and dull. So if you want to be in a kitchen or if you want to be a chef, please don't assume that you're going into some meditation retreat, because that really doesn't happen at all. Probably max 10 minutes in a day when you get some time in between. But just to give you guys a little insight about things that we do in the kitchen, it's almost like a big family, because you're standing together for about 8 to 10 hours minimum. There will be some kind of Garhwali music playing in the background, just giving you a big
okay.
there, because we have a lot of chefs who are from Garhwal. All my entire team was from Garhwal, and there would be in between, if there were no orders in between, there would be a couple of Garhwali moves happening.
Not bad, okay.
Yeah, not bad at all, and lots of fun. So basically every head chef or every executive chef runs the kitchen their own way with their kind of energy. So in my kitchen, there was no galis, there was no like screaming, shouting. We would stick to our work. There could be a moment of anger or dissatisfaction if something is not up to the mark, but it would never cross that limit, because I was the one who was running the kitchen and things were very, very set. So, but when we had to have fun, we would make something, we would create something, everyone would take pictures, we would try something. So the environment was extremely challenging. I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was a lot of fun. Like, I made sure that the team had fun. So गर्मियों में कभी कुछ रूह अफ़ज़ा चल रहा है, कभी something the team is eating, something we're experimenting with. Obviously music is running at the background. So this is what's happening at the back, behind the scenes, while you get your food. But obviously everyone's at it. So you're constantly working, cutting, chopping. You'll hear a million different sounds in the kitchen. But honestly, it's my happy space. So
we totally get that. Actually, what happens when you have a difficult customer?
बहुत मुश्किल होती है.
वो गुस्सा
बहुत गुस्सा आता है. So sometimes you get a customer who calls you out, wants to talk to you, and will tell you कि हमें ये नहीं खाना, हमें ये change करना है. So till a certain limit, I think we're all very understanding, and we'll be like, हाँ ठीक है, हम कर सकते हैं. We'll come into the kitchen, we'll literally bark that order out, saying that ये है, बहुत special है, extra careful, all of those things. But sometimes, and we do deliver exactly what they want and they're happy. But sometimes I think guests become really difficult, and then there are times that we just had to say, sorry, this is what we can do and this is what we can't do. Even though we're taught always that guest is always right, Atithi Devo Bhava, all of those things. We always try and do our best, because we don't want anyone to go back home with a bad experience, because ultimately it's word of mouth that kind of gets out. So we try and make sure that we are able to fulfill the order, but if not, we just get frustrated. Honestly, there's nothing else, because you're in a certain flow of work. It's like a well-oiled machine, and suddenly someone comes and just puts like a pin in into the machine, and it kind of just stops and everything goes haywire. So just because of one order like this, your entire cycle can kind of all the orders can get delayed, everything can go wrong, and then when you come out of your lunch service, you're like, oh my god, that was just one hell of a service, and then you probably cuss it out outside when you're alone and thinking about how the day kind of went. But otherwise, we always try our best. But difficult customers, don't be so difficult, be nice.
And they say you should never mess with a person who's handling your food. Are those horror stories true?
No. Those are all rubbish. Those are all to make you scared, because we can't. I mean, we have FSSAI guidelines. We have everything is in place. So really nobody can mess with your food. It's just that you can just mess with a person's temperament, because, when you're cooking, you don't want anyone to be angry. You don't want, your food to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
In that way. So I would say that, none of that is true.
Chaliye, so we've had Anahita, put all our fears to rest. Yeah. Okay, coming back to the book and the recipes here, jaise aapne bola, Parsi food, of course, it's that whole Bombay and the Irani cafe food culture. So jo log Bombay se bahar hain, they want to try out a recipe that you've given. Are there ingredients or something that probably isn't as authentic if not sourced from a particular place?
So, I think luckily we are in a day and age where we can order a lot of things online. So, pehle, I would say about 10-15 years ago, it would have been very difficult to source the Parsi ingredients because my mother used to actually travel to Bombay, get all her stock of ingredients, and then because in Delhi we would not get it.
Yeah.
Then there was one supplier who started getting it from Bombay to Delhi, so we started getting it easily in Delhi. Now we can order everything online, and वो सब कुछ आ जाता है. So anything that you find at the end of the book, I've given like a pantry staples with all the ingredients, also the masalas that you need. I feel with Indian cooking, obviously you would try and use as authentic the masala mixture as you can, but it's okay to sometimes substitute. So you can substitute if you don't have anything. You will not reach the 100% like authentic dish, but at least you will be in a ballpark of 80%, which is great if you want to just kind of experiment with it for the first time. But otherwise, like I said, everything's available online. Most of the ingredients that are used in Parsi cooking are in that region. So it's basically अगर किसी को समझना है कि पारसी खाना क्या है, वो एक मिक्सचर है 5 डिफरेंट क्विजीन्स का. सो थोड़ा सा इरानियन फूड, थोड़ा सा महाराष्ट्रियन, गुजराती, गोयन, लिटिल इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ द ब्रिटिश, उसको सब कुछ मिक्स करके वो बन जाता है पारसी खाना, जो हम आज मतलब खाते हैं, कहीं पे भी खाते हैं, इन द रेस्टोरेंट्स और व्हाट यू आर रीडिंग इन द बुक. So, if you want all those flavors, you should source your ingredients from there. But if you can't, like I said, use whatever is locally available, and I'm sure you'll get to some place.
Right. So your love for Parsi food and of course your heritage is what helped you birth this one. कौन सी डिश है, कौन सी ओरिजिनल ऑथेंटिक पारसी डिश है अनायता, जिसको बनाने में बैंड बजाती है आपकी? यू थिंक इट्स वेरी टफ एंड ओनली विद प्रैक्टिस can you perfect it? Of course, I'm sure you have, but
yes. So I think there are a couple of dishes. There's this one dish called vindaloo, which has been taken from the Goans. If you go to Goa, you'll have a lot of different types of vindaloos. The Parsis actually learnt it from the Goan ladies who were working in Parsi homes, so they started learning the vindaloo paste from them. The vindaloo paste, I would say, is cumbersome to make. So whenever I make it, मैं क्या करती हूँ, मैं उसको बड़े बैच में बनाती हूँ और मैं उसको बॉटल करके फ्रिज में रख देती हूँ. And I even like give it to family members and stuff because it's really easy once the paste is made. Right. So in any Indian cooking, if you have to make a paste or you have to make a base of the gravy, it's what is time consuming. The cooking of the vegetable, the adding of the protein, फिनिशिंग ऑफ द डिश हार्डली टेक्स एनी टाइम. बट वो जो मसाला पकाना है उसको टाइम लगता है बिकॉज उसको आपको सब कुछ भूनना पड़ता है. एंड व्हाट आई डू इज आई एक्चुअली मेक श्योर दैट एनी स्पाइस मिक्सेस दैट आई मेक, एंड दिस इज अ शेफ्स टिप फॉर एवरीवन लिसनिंग, जस्ट मेक श्योर दैट यू नाइसली आइदर ड्राई रोस्ट इट or fry it in oil. So you want the spices to release the aroma. अगर आप कोई भी पेस्ट बना रहे हो और आपने सीधा खड़े मसाले मिक्सी में डाल दिए और पीस दिए, तो उसमें क्या होता है, इसकी सारी अरोमा नहीं निकलती, उसका सारा फ्लेवर नहीं निकलता. एंड मसाला हैज the masalas that you're using in your cooking have many different properties. They're giving you aromas, they're giving you nutrition and all the other hidden goodness that the masalas have, but they're also giving you a lot of aroma. So if you want that aroma to come in your dish, roasting is very important. या तो ड्राई रोस्ट कर लो आप पैन में, या तो ऑयल के साथ आप उसको फ्राई कर दो. So that step becomes very long and cumbersome, especially with the vindaloo. So the vindaloo paste, I would say, is one of the longer, a little more difficult recipes. But even dhansak, I think people are very scared about dhansak, and the reason is because it has 25 ingredients.
I know.
And but the easy part,
खाने में कितना मजा आता है यार.
और उसमें बहुत आसान चीज भी है कि हमें ऐसे लगता है कि बहुत सारा काम है. But the best part is in the recipe, if you read, everything goes into a pot together. Like nothing is cooked and all. So what I do is just the prepping takes time, which means getting all your ingredients ready. उसके बाद सब कुछ प्रेशर कुकर में गया या in a big pot, however you're cooking it, slow cooking it or you're cooking it in a pressure cooker, and then you just have to boil it. Once everything is boiled, you just have to mash it. So it's not that difficult, but people assume it's difficult because of the number of ingredients.
Super. So this beautifully evocative book जो आपने लिखी है, final question of course is that what's your vision for this book? I mean, you of course want to introduce people to Parsi food and give them a story that they carry in their hearts. Yes. But ये किन लोगों को, so those जो कहते हैं कि भाई खाना बनता तो नहीं है, हम खा सकते हैं,
हाँ, ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं और मैं बहुत सारे लोगों को जानती हूँ जो मुझे मिलते हैं और बोलते हैं हमें तो खाना बहुत पसंद है बट बनाना बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगता. So honestly, for them, I usually say that start small, start with small experiments in the kitchen. On my Instagram, if you're not following me, you can, and you can see that I do share a lot of easy tips and tricks. Very easy, घर पे 10 मिनट में क्या बना सकते हो? Because honestly, cooking is a life skill, and everyone should know basics. I'm not saying everyone should be a chef. बहुत ज़्यादा शेफ्स हो जाएंगे प्लीज, सब अपना अपना काम करो. But everyone should have that basic knowledge of cooking in a kitchen because it's extremely helpful. It's very therapeutic, honestly, when you're doing it, if it's not a huge mess or a disaster, something's not blasting in the background. But otherwise काफ़ी अच्छा होता है, काफ़ी मज़ेदार होता है खाना बनाना, बहुत सारे अलग अलग aromas होते हैं. So just to leave you guys with with a short advice is that be experimental, try it out. You might fail a couple of times, but we all did, even chefs did. मतलब अभी भी मेरे को कुछ बनाना होता है, I don't get it right in the first attempt, it's fine. But it's all about learning and growing, and that's what I would love you guys to do. And what I would like for the Parsi Kitchen, the book that is my first book, is that I hope a lot of people are introduced to this cuisine and हर घर में at least एक Parsi dish उनके menu का part हो. I really really hope to see like Parsi, like at least one Parsi dish part of like your regular cooking at home, like how we have rajma chawal, or we might have dosa, or we might have any other regional Indian dish. I hope to see Parsi food being a part of Indian kitchen, and I want to send a message out to everyone and the universe.
What a delicious thought that is. This was so much fun. I wish we could have done this in person, और फिर तो मैं एक एक चीज चखते हुए
फिर मेरे को सुबह उठ के आपके लिए कुछ बनाना भी पड़ता, but I'm glad we did this on Zoom because I don't have to cook.
But we will probably someday catch you and get you to make something nice for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and all of you, like I said, do get your hands on this book, The Parsi Kitchen, a memoir of food and family by Anahita Dhondy. Thank you. This was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.